welcome to Joyful Eating, episode number 131. So, today we're going to be talking about how to double or maybe even more, triple your pleasure from food. But before we get to that, the best bite I had this week, I'll tell you what, I'm completely obsessed with wasabi mayonnaise. So, Kewpie brand, the Japanese mayonnaise people, they make. I didn't realize this, but they make different flavors as well. Like, so I love their mayo, but they're one of my Joyful Cooking people put me onto their they make this wasabi mayo, so I bought some. It is amazing. Like, it's just got that perfect balance of like creaminess, but then that wasabi burns. So I've been having it on everything. Like, I've had it on salmon, I've had it on eggs, I've had it on tofu. Like, it's really good with everything. So yes, be careful if you do buy yourself a bottle. And it's got like a fair bit of burn to it as well. So a little bit goes a long way. But anyway, so our plan for today is, first I'll just share the story behind this episode. So why I decided to record this episode about doubling your pleasure. Then we're going to talk about like why pleasure is important, and the benefits that you can get from it. And then we're going to talk about the easiest way to double your pleasure. And then we're going to talk about the second easiest way and the third easiest way. So the three for today. So the story behind this episode, basically, like, I'm on a mission to help the world experience more pleasure and joy around food, whether that's in the actual eating experience or in the cooking experience or just in how they feel in their bodies and their relationship with food. Like, seriously, I think there's so much pain and suffering that we humans and the diet industry is putting ourselves through around food, and it doesn't have to be like that. So I'm always here for the pleasure. Like, that's the first thing I do. And so when I work with people in the Naturally Healthy Club, the first lesson is we maximize the pleasure of food. And we talk about how to do that, how to really savor our food, how to really enjoy it, because it's like one of life's greatest pleasures. And it breaks my heart that so many people are missing out on this, or they're shortchanging themselves just because they think they need to be healthier, that they need to, like, if they want to be healthy, that they can't enjoy the food as well. And what I know to be true, and what I've helped hundreds of people do, is figure out that actually tuning into the pleasure and enjoying food is the point. It is what actually helps you get to be this amazing person, naturally healthy person who has the best of both worlds. So we'll talk about this all day, every day, and just give me an opportunity. So I was like, yes, I want to record an episode about this. And so why is pleasure important? Like, why am I so hooked on this idea that it's important for us to experience pleasure from our food? And at first, of course, the obvious one is because it tastes good and because it feels good. Like, it's like, we've evolved to have this like amazing thing that we can, like, that we every day, multiple times a day, we get to stop. Like, there's a Pavarotti quote about, it's amazing we get to stop multiple times a day and just devote our attention to eating. It's like such a beautiful thing. And like, just, when you get something that's really delicious, like, how good is that? So that, like, first of all, like, and that could be enough reason, like, that would be enough reason to like be going on and teaching you how to double your pleasure from food. But the thing is that it's not just like that that it's great and it's enjoyable. It's the thing that I've really found is that when we allow ourselves to experience food, in like the pleasure of food, that's when we're also able to find satisfaction. So the more we give ourselves permission to really enjoy whatever it is that we're eating, like, we're feeling good about whatever it is that we're eating, and we get that beautiful sensory experience. That's like, we've evolved to have this. And part of I have zero scientific evidence of this apart from the clients that I've worked with, and by my own experience, is that the more pleasure we get from the food, the more we are able to feel satisfied. So then when we feel satisfied with the reasonable amount, we're able to stop and we don't go into overeating territory. And when we don't go into overeating territory, then our weight stops being a problem. Like, so that, yeah, like, it just, this satisfaction piece is really key. So tuning into pleasure helps us feel satisfied with a reasonable amount of food. And when we're satisfied with the reasonable amount of food, we don't have to overeat. And when we don't overeat, then our bodies sort themselves out, and we're like feeling good about it in our bodies as well. It's like this magic, magic, magic thing. Um, it's like win, win, win all around. So how like this is really key. Like pleasure leads to satisfaction. And you will know, like there would have been times where you've if you've ever done that like calorie counting and you've been eating rice cakes because you wanted to like have more food, and like seriously, like no joy and no pleasure in that. But then you're eating your however many you're allowed to have, and then you're still like really it's like it's not only are you hungry, but there's also like this yearning, like your soul's like, I want more food. And so you think it's like there's something wrong with you, but really it's just because you didn't let yourself have the pleasure. So it's so big. Like the pleasure is really a critical piece for feeling satisfied. So now that I've sold you on that, how do we go about doubling our pleasure? So the easiest way to literally double the amount of pleasure you get from your food is one word: anticipation. So what do I mean by that? It's like planning it out, thinking ahead about whatever it is that you really want to eat. And one of my clients, Veronica, she's Austrian, and she had posted in the group and she'd post there's a saying they have in Austria that like anticipation is the best type of joy. And I love that idea that actually that anticipating of something, looking forward to something, is just as pleasurable, it's just as joyful, it's just as enjoyable as the actual having of it. And the fascinating thing is there's actually research to back this up. So when they there's been like studies done where they've looked at like cocaine addicts, and they've been measuring like the dopamine, like the neurotransmitters in their like the reward neurotransmitter in their brain, and they actually get just as much dopamine, or possibly even more dopamine, when they anticipate getting a hit than they do in the actual when they actually take the drug. So seeing that seeing that cocaine getting cut up into the little, and get like them thinking about that, anticipating it, is just as pleasurable as actually having it. I mean, it's just as releases more dopamine than when they actually take it. So this is true of all food. Like when we anticipate having that donut and we're thinking about that donutty good sweet goodness, like that's actually releasing dopamine and actually giving that sense of pleasure without a single crumb needing to cross our lips. It's like such a magic thing, and such a and the thing is that when we don't plan stuff out, when we don't decide in ahead of time that we're going to have something, we shortchange ourselves, because if we just decide in the moment, yeah, I'm going to have a donut, yeah, great, you get the enjoyment from the donut in the moment, but you've missed out. You could have been planning the donut for weeks. You missed out on all the weeks of enjoyment. So how do you go about doing this? I want you to stop now and just think, like, what's something that you love that you haven't had in a while? Like something that you really love to eat. And now, second step is, now that you've identified that thing, like decide now, when are you going to have that? Like maybe it's like you really love sushi and you haven't had sushi for ages. So when are you going to go and get some sushi? For me, the thing that just came to me is like, I love cheese, and I haven't had, like, I've had some good cheese, like okay cheese, but like more supermarket cheese lately. And I haven't been to my amazing cheese shop lately. So I'm like, right, Thursday, I'm going to the cheese shop. And already I'm like excited about going in. Like I'm looking forward to like having the choices, getting to taste like the little tasters, and deciding like what cheese I'm going to get. Like so much pleasure just from like that little thought experiment. So, and then the next thing is actually enjoy that, like follow through on that plan, go get that sushi, go have the cheese, like go get that beautiful ice cream from like your favorite ice cream shop, whatever it is, and enjoy it, like savor it. So that's the first, like we could stop the episode there. That's how you double your pleasure from food. But of course, I've got some more tips for you. So the second easiest way to double your pleasure, or to increase your pleasure, and definitely you can double this or even more, is to focus on the food. So when you actually are having whatever it is that you're eating, turn off your phone, like turn off the TV, Shut your computer down, get away from your desk, like just give yourself that like yeah, that focused time where it's like you and the donut or you and your beautiful cheese plate. And just because whenever we're like, and like when you're watching a movie and you're eating popcorn, like you don't hardly even taste it. Like, not that popcorn tastes that great to begin with for me, but anyway. So yeah, we want to focus on the food. So that's a second way. So first we're going to anticipate, we're going to plan something out. Then we're going to focus on food. So we're going to turn off the distractions and just use the food as this amazing distraction. And then the third tip I have for you in terms of doubling pleasure is slowing down. So the why this is important is like your taste buds are on your tongue, right? So you only have so many taste buds on your tongue. If you have a really big bite and you're like chewing it really quickly, like, and swallowing, like the amount of time that the food's actually touching your taste buds and the amount of food that the proportion of food that actually gets to touch your taste buds, really minimal compared to what you eat. Whereas if you had like, you could divide that into 4 tiny bites and like really savor it in your mouth, you're getting like way more exposure on your taste buds. You're actually experiencing way more pleasure. And also it's good for your digestion as well. But yeah, like slowing down, taking smaller bites, so key to increasing pleasure. And yeah, I could go on, but that's enough for today. So yeah, there's the 3 things to double your pleasure. Plan those treats, turn off your devices, and slow down. And if you want to discover like how you to maximize the pleasure enjoyment that you get from food and how this will actually help you create that dream relationship with food, and also the dream relationship with your body where you're feeling really good in your clothes and where you're like in this place where you're enjoying what you're eating. And when you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, you actually like what you see. If any of that sounds good to you, then come and play with me in the Naturally Healthy Club. To find out more, just go to my invitation page. It's thestonesoup.com/group. And yeah, get your name on the wait list and you'll be the first to be notified when next time enrollments are opening. Okay, have a beautiful week and I'm enjoying that anticipation, and I will catch you next week.